These were the opening moves of Hikaru Nakamura with the black pieces here and Jose Martinez playing with white. It's the 22nd of October, late tournament, online, elite blitz chess, and after this game, Hikaru quit Title Tuesday, which he basically never does. What is going down here? Well, we need to dive into the chess to start to unpack it. So d4 was played. Now we get pawn to c ships. We're in a Pierce defense. I believe that's how you pronounce this word. One of the trickiest in chess. I'm about to get destroyed in the comments. And after c3, e5, Hikaru fighting back here, we now see f4. Given the question mark, but sometimes we've got to ignore the fish. This is an aggressive move. Hikaru takes here, pawn recaptures, and look at that phalanx in the center. This is why it's a risky defense with black. So Hikaru goes d5 for the high five. Now we see the advance here, setting up the overpowered camel toe pawn formation, and Hikaru now wants to fight for the f5 square. So we see knight e7 that starts it. If you go g4, then h5 undermines this pawn. No time for h3 or takes, and you lose rookie in the corner. So bishop d3 watches the square. Bishop f5, going with that one, not the knight, because you want to plant this noble steed on the f5 square. And now we see knight f3 played. If you did try to capture, knight takes, then g4, well, there was queen h4 check. That was the problem. The knight was back here. So this played. Now h5 secures the outpost. And after castles, g6, we see more fighting for this critical f5 square that was weakened. And queen d7 just lends more fuel to the fire. Now the best move for white here is bishop e3. But knight c3 played, given the question mark, which just seems crazy, but it's all to do with this move. If Hikaru had played it, which he didn't, best one for black. You can then follow up like this. This knight's attacked, so taking logical, and this is how the line goes here. But if the knight wasn't here, and back on b1, bishop's on e3, then from here, whoops, the queen can slide to b3, hit this pawn. Subtle ninja stuff, kind of uncomfortable to cover. But this is what we saw in the game here. Now we see knight to a6, rerouting to c7 potentially, because Hikaru didn't take, best move. And now it allows Jose to smash up these pawns, which he does, and then immediately start targeting them with the queen. First, he sets up the old bishop diamond. Very nasty looking structure for that bishop. Now we see rook b8, hitting the pawn, defended, bishop e6, dropping back, making way for the knight here, and queen e2. And Hikaru's like, look, that pawn's mangled, doubled, don't need it, you go ahead and take it, I'm going to rapidly develop, which is what he now does. We see knight takes on f5 here, the bishop recaptures, queen takes on a6, Jose a pawn to the good, but Hikaru wants to drum up attacking chances, pushes that juicer over there, and he wants to open the board for the bishops. But good response here, h3. You don't want to allow black to do it and set up g3, that structure, nasty light squares. So bishop b4 hits the unprotected knight, defended. Now rook b6, will Jose spot that his queen's hanging? Yes, he does. He's over 3k on chess.com. Bishop a3 hits the rook, and it slides to the d file here. Very nice square, discouraging the push of that c pawn. So castle's played by Hikaru, bishop f2 hits the undefended pawn, and this one now slides all the way back, done with a whoosh, as the top professionals do. And after knight a4 hitting the rook, rook b4, we now see just the loveliest of maneuvering here. After rook c1, king g7 very tidy, knight c5 onto the dark squares, these bishops just getting absolutely squashed. So the queen saves itself. Sure, you could take, but rook recaptures, and you're going to get murdered on that dark squared complex for the rest of the game. game, backwards pawn sitting on its head. So rook c3 played, preparing to stack the two towers. Hikaru goes for the counterplay here, and rook fc1 gangs up on this weakened, miserable pawn. Hikaru goes rook h8, covering the h-pawn, preparing to chop the knight, potentially, but it now drops back to a4. And the manoeuvring in this game, just absolutely beautiful from Jospem here. It's reminiscent of one of Yasser Ross's stunning chess masterpieces. He knows how to really create fire on the board when it comes to the canvas. Now what to do? The backwards pawn is attacked here. Well, Hikaru now defends like this. Good move, but it allows this shot for Jose. He finds it. Pawn to f5, excellent attacking idea. You can take with the pawn, but you rip open the king. Nasty stuff starts happening once the white pieces switch back that way and begin to attack. So it wasn't played. The bishop captures, allowing this one to drop. It was a bad pawn anyway. Rook c7 threatened, so this one slides back, covers the 7th heaven. And now knight c5, charging back in once more, hitting the rook, but Hikaru finds a nice defense. Tricky dicky move, queen b5, offering the exchange of queens here, the queen on e2 unprotected, and that's why there's no time to take this rook, or then your queen drops off the board. So captures was played. Now the rook recaptures, comes away from the attack. Rook c7 played, hits the unprotected bishop, it slides to g5, Hikaru kind of shoots that attack on Jose's rook. Very nice chess, the laser power of the bishops is shown here, and after rook e1, something wicked this way comes. Hikaru goes rook a5, defending and attacking at the same time, but Jose now just brings the fight, chucking the kitchen sink at Hikaru. But just before we dive in, a big thank you once again to the sponsors of today's video, UPDF. So much feedback already on how amazing this one is. Please do have a listen. It is an absolute travesty that more people do not know about UPDF. Because when you think PDF, you think Adobe, right? Wrong. This is what you should now think. Look at that price point. Absolutely insane. Coming in at about 1/6 of the cost of Adobe, you would think you're losing features. No, the richness there is the same and then even superior in many of the key areas. Let's talk converting documents. UPDF's got you covered in all the standard and CSV, GIF, BNP. Does Adobe? No, it doesn't. How about compatibility? Adobe's standard PC version covers you on Windows, but not on Mac, not on iOS. With UPDF, it does. And then we come to the icing on the cake, UPDF's AI assistant here. And not only can you talk to it about images, but you can also talk to it about questions outside of just PDF. These same level of features not supported in Adobe. We're talking ChatGPT meets PDF in UPDF. And there's a genuine try before you buy service. Unlike Adobe that only give the 7 days to trial it out, you get an unlimited period of time, no payment information taken up front, so you're not feeling rushed. You got the absolute incredible value for money, and then on top of that, using the link down below, you get further Epic Chess discount at the checkout. So give this one a go today. Get in while it's still at this incredible price. So Jose plays the move here. The excellent pawn to e6, just ripping everything open. What to do about the attack on f7? The rook covers, of course. a4 now played though, and this horrible rook over on the edge of the board, absolutely in jail here. Can't escape from these attacks. So this is now the problem. Hikaru hits the rook, but does it move? Yes, it does. Takes on f7 with check. Now we see recaptures, pawn takes, and there's a threat to slam down this second rook on the back rank, supported by the pawn, hitting the bishop, threatening a promotion. So king takes on f7 played, but now look at this miserable piece. b4 played before Hikaru can get out of jail. He couldn't anyway, and it forces him to give up the exchange, which he duly does. D-pawn capturing to get that definite pass pawn running, even create a second one. So bishop f6 on the board, pawn b5, d4, b6, takes, and those pawns running. After rook d1, we get the resignation here from Hikaru. The d-pawn's simply dropping. You're in exchange to the good, 2 pawns up, nothing to play for here, and this is then the final game, after which Hikaru quits the tournament. Now, was his dinner ready? We don't know. Did his brand new pogo stick just arrive? We don't know. Did he rage quit? Because the
chess speaks for itself.
We just don't know. But if you did happen to catch Hikaru's stream on this late Tuesday just gone, then I'd be very intrigued as to what actually happened. Why did he quit the game? Was it a rage quit because he was unhappy with his play? I don't know. It was the first loss. He'd just won about 4 or 5 in a row. So not such a big deal entitled Tuesday. Hope to hear from you anyway in the comments. Thanks very much for watching, and check out the video on screen for another epic game of chess. Cheers.